What's up, y'all? It's the kid FortWorthFabian, BigBossFabo. I'm back with a video for you guys, man. Back with the live stream reactions. I'm doing this evening a active self-protection reaction, man. I used to do a few of these reactions back in the day where basically they essentially, advise you on best practices to keep safe or like to stay safe in certain situations. And very informational, very informative, very helpful. So let me know y'all's thoughts on this one in the comment section below, man. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter at FortWorthFabian. It's the road to 1 million, man. Like this video. Let's get this video to 30 likes, man. 30 likes. I appreciate everybody rocking with the channel. Let's get it.
The reason we train our skill set hard is so that when the moment comes, we have the cognitive time to make the right decision. Hi everybody, welcome to today's bonus badge cam lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host, John Correa, and with me, 30-year law enforcement officer, Mike Williver.
Today's video comes to us from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Word.
LVMPD, these dudes are pros.
Yeah,
Today's video brought to you by New Way Ford. New Way helps people all over the country find the right new or used car at the best price with incredible service. We bought Mrs. Asp's 2021 Bronco Sport from New Way, and I'm a satisfied customer. If you see me rolling in my New Way Ford F-150, come say hi and let New Way give you a quote on your next vehicle purchase. These officers and detectives from the gang unit are accosting this clerk because he is wanted in a shooting earlier that day. He is a suspect there. They knew he was working in this shift, so they show up in order to take him into custody. Now, what you're going to see here is he initially complies. There is a bunch of officers around here. You know, obviously this is the top-down cam from the convenience store. They tell him to put his hands on his head, stand up straight. Now, he has a firearm carried appendix, and as they continue to give him commands, you see the officer put the taser on him, and he is going to decide in that moment that he does not want to be taken into custody, and he is going to reach for...
He got the taser on him down here, so officers down this way. This is a funny kind of camera angle, but of course this is the recording from the convenience store. Got the taser on him. Red dot. Tag him.
That gun. Now, you're going to see the officers burn him down. We see it in slow-mo here. We actually have the badge cams as well as this. So as you see him go for the gun, the officers are going to open fire. Let's listen in on the badge cam.
Do not go. Do not move. Put the hands on top of your head. That's right. Turn around slowly. Do not move. Do not go on your knees. Stand up straight. Do not move. Interlock your fingers. Stand up straight. That's all I got. Any others floating out here? Hey, I think
Don't step to your right.
keep your hands on top of your head.
He's saying, should I go for it? Come on, man. You know, he's reaching. He's reaching for something.
See it one more time in slow motion here as this guy's going to go, and as he reaches less than a second later, about 0.9 seconds later, the shots ring out. You see the shot from the officer with the long gun there. This guy did not make it. He took the convenience store temperature challenge instead of going.
He just wanted to get smoked. He didn't want to go back to prison. It was this or else, man. Hey, this is not for the faint eyes. This is not for the faint eyes at all. So, like, they weren't even considering just tasering him. They're going to take him out.
Going to jail that day. No one else is harmed, and let's think about lessons. Mike, you said to me off camera earlier that Las Vegas Metro, they're busy boys in the gang task force.
Yeah, you got to figure every knucklehead from all over the country finds their way to Las Vegas at some point, and those knuckleheads are usually some pretty bad actors.
And so let's talk about lessons from these guys, but I got to tell you right off the top of my head, I think LVMPD is some of the most professional officers in the country.
We see you guys.
So obviously here we got a lot of officers who are responding, and in particular this guy standing outside looking through the window. One thing I want you to be very cautious of here is, of course, you get on the 180 from each other, and all of a sudden these kinds of things can turn into a Taliban wedding ceremony.
What does that mean?
Well, obviously, when everybody's standing around each other and shooting into the air and all those things can become very dangerous to the officers. So when they talk about crossfire, these things happen in a big fat hurry. And I think he was in a good spot here for a moment. But when the other officers show up on the other side, you got to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him standing there for long, only because, like you said, if this turns into a shots fired situation, he's going to be in a bad spot. Plus, I'm not sure how effective his rounds would be through whatever that is.
Yeah, through the glass or whatever. I think he was in the right spot there to try to get the guy to comply or whatever. Now, the officer who is on our badge cam that starts issuing the commands, and again, I think does a pretty good job. I like the fact that they let one guy issue commands here.
Yeah, LMVPD, wait to say that right, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department is extremely squared away. We dealt with them when I was a Fed. Those guys, their tactics are really sound. Their intel is really sound. So,
Fed, ladies and gentlemen,
I don't love getting him behind the counter, but I guess this was their best opportunity to take him into custody.
They got to take the guy into custody, and I also really like here that what we see from Las Vegas Metro is they had somebody on the less lethal. So we see again, this is an older model of taser, but still a very effective one. That you see a single dot. That dot tells me where my first prong is going to go. And again, to give an opportunity, like hopefully this guy just gives up. But if not, then hopefully maybe we get an opportunity because we have lethal cover. We only use the taser. The taser is only, especially against a guy who's got a gun. Like,
I just want to know what he did. Like, what did he do? He broke into the convenience store. He was looting. What was he doing?
This effective when I have somebody with lethal cover.
And he's a big boy as well. Not
He's a big boy.
I'm noticing this one officer here.
Man,
the guy with the brown vest on. Has his hand on that plastic. I'm not sure what he's doing there, if he's worried about it's getting in the way, he's trying to move it out of the way, but I'd prefer you to have a two-handed grip on your gun.
Obviously, if it goes to shooting, you can see he's got his muzzle depressed there as well in front. Again, you'd rather have two hands on the gun if you have to. Could he put second hand on the gun if he needed to? Yes.
And he did.
And so they're going to try to get this guy into custody, but of course the big thing that we remember is he gets involved.
They said they couldn't see me. They said they couldn't. Oh man, messing up the whole live, right? Thought the display was all over the place, man. But let me just get back to it.
Vote, and he decides in that moment, and I don't know what would make him make that decision. So again, I don't think it was right because he was compliant for the officer to use the taser in this moment. I think that he did the right thing, and these officers did the right choice. And I want to talk about their right now is when he decides to go. So when we talk about being very good with your handgun skills, these officers are all at either we have some muzzle depressed here, we have some who are actually aimed in, including the guy on the long gun. We have some folks who are at a low ready. And we talk about being ready in that moment, having the skill set, because what really is going to slow you down in a real life encounter is your decision making. So you want the gun skills to be lightning fast so that once you've made the decision, it doesn't slow you down anymore.
Yeah, and like you said, this is a really good example of the less lethal cover. He's a perfect distance away to get the right prong spread. These guys are ready to go. And yeah, the decision making on their part is probably pretty good and pretty quick to begin with. But having the drop on the guy made all the difference.
Makes a huge difference. But of course, what you see here on the video right now where we stopped it is his hands are just starting to move. And so now what's going to happen is I've slowed it down just for the sake of time. You see the guy turn and go, and he's at about 0.96 seconds when the officer's shot breaks. Now, that's a half a second for the officer to recognize that guy is actually going for the gun, then to say, I need to shoot him, program the action, and let it rip. Now, of course, because he has the drop on him, as a private citizen, this is one of the reasons that we say if this wasn't an officer and a guy's got a gun on you, whatever, we don't draw from the drop because you're going to get shot when the guy has the drop on you. Number two,
he had no chance. There's no way you're reaching down, getting ready to draw, and there's no chance, man. They already got the drop, like he said. They got the drop on you. You got to be quick draw McGraw, but that's not happening.
I think this is a great reason for the officers to have the drop on a guy because he decides he wants to gunfight instead of go to jail today.
It does look to me like he made a decision to die that day because why else are you going to try to draw against all these drawn officers?
Against all these officers, this is clearly he decided he wanted to die that day by suicide and then use the officers to do so, okay?
He probably wouldn't have minded shooting a cop in the process if he had the opportunity.
And of course, officers have to protect themselves. Dude's going for a gun. He did have a gun on him. He was wanted in a shooting earlier that day, decided he didn't want to go back to jail, and so he puts the officers in that spot, and that's terrible. That is a horrible thing to do to those officers. And again, as he goes for it in slow motion here, you can see just how little margin for error that we had. But of course, what's the fight stopper there? The long gun is the fight stopper. If I knew that I was going to get into a gunfight today, I want to have the long gun if I can. The pistol we keep because of its portability, but the long gun for effectiveness.
I had a great lieutenant on the gang task force, Derek Clark, who once said that we give you pistols so you can fight your way back to your rifle.
Yeah, and of course, you're not going to go fight your way back to it and if you don't bring it with you. And we all know that, right? But really, if you know hey, bad stuff is coming, I'm going to take a second if somebody else is already there, get the long gun. Now, of course, I'd be remiss if you watched Active Self-Protection. You know that guy with a long gun, I don't know if it was a shotgun or a carbine, but you can see a little bit that his sling is dangling there. Man, use the sling it over your neck at least, so then that way you can use your hands if you have to. Didn't need to in that moment. The long gun was highly effective at stopping the threat. I think the officers were in a bad situation here. I think they needed to get this guy into custody because he's wanted for a shooting earlier in the day. He decided in that moment that he wanted to have a gunfight with the cops, and I think the officers did everything that they could in the moment and covered their ass.
He got hit. He got hit up, man. That's what you do when you play around, man. He had a death sentence that day, man. Let me know y'all's thoughts on that video in the comment section below. Sure to like, comment, subscribe with notification bell. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, FortWorthFabian, all that good stuff, man. Peace, love to everybody rocking with the channel. We got 7 people on the live stream, man. Hit the like button. Shout out to Kenny. What up, man? Pocket full of sunshine music video. Word. All right, I'll look into it, man. I appreciate everybody rocking with the channel. We've been live for 11 minutes now, but I'm about to log off. Hit the like button for me. Till next time.